Welcome to all of you out there, astrology lovers. This is a video about the new moon in Virgo. So it is occurring around and about the 27th of August of this year of 2022. And the new moon always shows new beginnings. So what is this all about? This video is about this particular new moon in general, but also I'm going to, for every single sign, explain very shortly, in a true Virgo manner, what this energy is all about. And it's quite clear to me. I mean, it's a very specific new moon. Is it an easy one? Absolutely not. You know, easy new moons are new moons that, not in a particular sign, but it's with the aspects, what is going on with the other planets. And an easy new moon sometimes is unnoticed. It doesn't mean to say when a new moon is not easy that you can't get everything out of it. You know, astrology is not about some fairy tales and I'm saying this is bad, this is good. No, on the contrary. When you are, in my humble opinion, astrology is about reading energy. It's reading energy, and this is not an easy energy. It's a challenging energy, but we have free will. We can make it worse and we can go to the downside of this energy, or with awareness, which is what I'm trying to do here. It's making you aware of things, making you more conscious of it, that we are little or big magicians, then we are creators or co-creators, to say the least, of our own lives, and we go towards the positive side of it. And I've seen that over and over again with challenging aspects, especially squares and oppositions, which is what this is all about, this new moon. It's having a very tight square, which means exact, and squares means tension. But I've seen it over and over again. If you put a lot of awareness towards the tension, and if you're tapping into your capacity of a magician, of a alchemist, so to speak, you can transform that into something that is good for you. And that is why I'm here. That is how I do astrology. And it's easy, you know. It's easy for me to say, oh, this is negative energy and blah, 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 blah. I mean, what we focus on becomes bigger. I want to focus on what is this telling us? I'm curious. And I want to turn it around into something that is constructive. Now, this that I'm talking about is a very Virgo way of doing things. And this is a Virgo new moon. So for all of us collectively, this is about the new beginning because it's a new moon. It's the sun and the moon together at 4 degrees of Virgo. So for all of us, a new start, a new beginning in a Virgo way. So a Virgo, like every other sign, has good things, and we want to go towards the good things, of course, but we have to know the pitfalls before we can go towards the good things. And there are definitely pitfalls with Virgo. Virgo is associated, its pitfalls, I mean, with the nitty-gritty, with just seeing the detail, not having the overview. It's like, you know, that nagging energy, nervous energy, insecure energy. You know, if you are a Virgo, don't feel like, oh, she's attacking me. No, I'm just the negative side, or if you are not aware, you go towards that energy. It's like never being content. It's the person that even when you are at the best restaurant and you have the best food, and they always find something to pick on. It wants things to be perfect, and therefore it's never relaxed. It's never, I smile. I love, because I'm a Virgo and I recognize a lot of these traits, but again, I know that you can turn them around. And I have the sun in Virgo, but anyway, it's not about me, is it? Is it? No. It's about you out there giving a message. Now, there is a good side of Virgo. Absolutely. The good side of Virgo is it wants to fix things. It wants to analyze. It wants to understand. It wants to be of service. it's the one that is very, how do you say that? When you're ill, for instance, and you have a Virgo friend that you haven't seen for years, and she or he catches the information that you are ill, he or she is going to send you some flowers. That's the Virgo. Virgo people are very attentive people. And there is something about it to purify. They can purify, they can clean up. They can, even when no one understands you, a Virgo will understand you because they can listen. They are good listeners. So, and they can work tremendously efficient. They can not work harder necessarily, but more efficient. You know, when they are, think about the secretary who's not a Virgo, who is the opposite sign of the Piscean, for instance. And by the way, this is not an attack to the Pisceans. It's very characteristic that I'm showing here to make you understand. The Piscean will do, you know, everything that comes in and will just try to swim as much as they can in an administrative world. But the Virgo will say, hey, how can I improve these chains here? How can I improve the chain of productivity? And they will analyze and they will spend time. That's what the Piscean is not seeing. They will spend time analyzing, constructing, and so on, so that they can do the same job in an hour what another sign would be doing in 10 hours. You see, it's efficiency. So this is interesting, energy, and it's so it's an energy of cleaning up. So we are all being, you could say, being naturally, because this is the language of nature, basically. So on a natural level, we are being guided towards these qualities of purifying, these qualities of being analytical, these qualities of work as well. You know, it's around this time. People are finishing up vacation for a lot of people in the world and thinking about work again. It's very much work related. It's also very much health related. So a lot of people will think like, okay, I have to have my healthy routines in check again. And of course, you could say this is all very boring, but every single person who has an objective in their life that is quite big, who wants to go towards a goal in their life, and they use the Virgo routines, they know that is going to improve their lives in the long term. If you are a student and you're learning every single day a tiny little piece of a big book, at the end of the year you will know the book, you know, but it's that Virgo plan and that Virgo routine of every single day doing something. That is a Virgo thing. So Virgos are all about the little things. But it's a snowball effect, because when you take care of your health and your routines, overall your life becomes easier. That's also the positive side of Virgo. So we are invited to do this. You know, for one person, this will have to do with another person, right? This will have to do with communication. This will have to do with another person, how to be not the nitty-gritty, you're doing this and you're doing that, but, you know, being a little bit more open, a little bit more from the heart and understanding, and try to listen where that person comes from. And on another level, you know, people who have some goals in their lives, they will have this new moon somewhere maybe in the 10th house of work, and it will invite them to be more efficient. So it's a very, although a little bit of a boring new moon, you could say, when it comes to, you know, routines and work, and, you know, everyone wants to know about love. Everyone wants to know about what's going on. Will I earn a lot of money and this and that? But it's these routines that make our lives easier. It's this good health habits that make our life easier. So if you have been saying to yourself like, you know, my routines were crap, this is a good moment. Use it. Now, is it just a new moon that is going on? No, there's more going on. It's as I said, it has a square to Mars at 4 degrees of Gemini. So 4 degrees Virgo, 4 degrees Gemini is an exact square. This is absolutely a challenge. Absolutely. Can you get a lot out of this challenge? Absolutely. The negative side of the sun and moon and the square to Mars, which I don't want to invite you to go there, but I want you to see it immediately. Mars squaring up to the moon, it's being triggered on an emotional level, and therefore you act, right? And in Gemini, it's probably acting through words, right? So fights and discussions and are very much in the air during this new moon. Another thing, the sun is also squaring Mars, which is one of the most male aspects that there are available in astrology, and it's a male of competition. I don't know a lot about tarot, but when I look at Sun square Mars, I see the 5 of Wands. I mean, if there are some tarot readers amongst you, please do clarify if I'm having it right. But anyway, it is fight, it is struggle, it is competition. So is that positive, negative? No, it's how you deal with it, right? You can use it in a good way to reach your goals and to use that competition vibe to improve yourself and to be better. So it all depends on how you look on it. But on a negative way, yes, it is clashes, with male figures, Sun square Mars. But of course, also Mars square Moon, it's also with females, female figures. But anyway, a lot of this is frustrational energy that you can't even describe. And it's all mental. Right? Because Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is mental, the mental activity. And Gemini is also ruled by Mercury. So we have to look at Mercury. What's Mercury doing? And thank God, Mercury is doing quite a lot of good stuff. Because otherwise if Mercury would be in a very bad place during this new moon, it would be like really hard and demanding a lot of us to turn this around, into something positive. But it's always doable. And but as I said, the sun and the moon are squaring up to Mars. So on a mental level, we are all challenged here, because when you have a lot in the chart, like mental energy, like Virgo and Gemini, on a negative level, it creates nervousness. It creates, that anxious energy, basically. The combination of being curious and wanting to know it all, and both of these signs want to know it all, and not necessarily in a way to always control things, but it's just their nature. I'm curious about life. I'm curious. What's going on here? I want to learn. If you want to learn about it, it's all good and well. If you are curious because you want to manipulate things, this is not going so well. But the thing is, we will all be invited to be very aware of it. The more you are aware of these negative energies, the easier you can spot it. And it's only when you are spotting it that you can turn it around. So how can you turn this energy around in something positive? Well, you definitely can. This mental energy, if you know where you put your focus on, and if the focus is something positive, wow, you can really use the positive way of a Mars square moon, which is I'm doing things because I'm passionate. So a moon square Mars, when I see that in a natal chart, it's someone very passionate. It's someone that needs an emotional attachment almost. So to get them into motion, basically. So for instance, you can on a positive level be very motivated to succeed in your exams, for instance. And that is this new moon. You do your best to, you get into action because you are emotionally driven, because you want to be successful, right? Or you want to improve your, so it's all about the intention. Is the intention coming from love and coming from a positive side, or is the intention coming from manipulation, shadow and this is not good, blah, 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 this is not from the heart chakra, then you know that this is going the wrong way. So ask yourself the question, if you feel frustrated, how can you turn this energy around towards a focus? And I'm going to talk about that focus in a minute for all the signs where you can put your focus on. And so it is a lot about when you're guiding that focus, it can give you a tremendous amount of drive, a tremendous amount of energy. It's very energetic, energy. My English is fantastic. It's very energetic energy. So you can use it in a positive way by really, really be very passionate. I mean, the sun squaring Mars, it's passion. The moon squaring Mars, it's passion. So use that to strategize. Use it to strategize, and because that's what Virgo is good at. And also use it to be curious in a positive way, not trying to manipulate, but just because you're enjoying it. And you will be able to have a whole new start with a lot of vigor, with a lot of, it's a bit Aries energy, right? This Mars squaring the moon, it's like having a moon in Aries. Mars squaring the sun, it's like having the sun in Aries. It's Aries energy. It's, I'm gonna do it because I'm excited and because I want to go. It's go-getter mentality. So if you have not a lot of courage lately on a certain area of your life, this is good energy because it's gonna give you courage. You see, it's not all bad at all. It's how you you do you can be motivated to work out, for instance. Not just because you want to feel healthy and you want to improve your self-worth, for instance. This can give you a lot of stamina, right? I'm getting all excited here. So action mentality stimulated is what this new moon is all about, and you can use it definitely in a positive way, absolutely. But I find that when things are very stressful, and when you can turn it around, the reward is even bigger. So there is a big reward here for all of us. Now let's have a look at the ruler, Mercury, because it's very important. What is Mercury doing during this new moon, right? What is it doing, and what kind of position it is? And I love it because Mercury is in Libra. So this is a law about relationships. This is so, and that's a good sign because Mercury in Libra wants to have the peace, you know, all this quarrel energy, all this the nitty gritty thing, this sharp tongue. This is a sharp tongue, by the way. This Mars squaring moon, squaring the sun. If you already have a sharp tongue, mind what you're saying. If not, if you let people walk all over you, this is fantastic energy. So it really depends on who you are already to use this energy in the right way. But this Mercury is in Libra. So for all of us, we want to improve our relationships, right? We want to have stable, you know, I give you, I take a little bit and you give a little bit. So it's a 50-50. A healthy relationship is very simple. I invest in you, but you also invest in me, not the other way around. That is Libra. It's fairness. When you go overboard, you are the people pleaser, or you let people walk all over you. So that's not a good thing. But in a very neutral way, Libra is all about give and take, and the natural way of that. So Mercury in Libra means, and that's a good sign because this Mercury is well aspected. It's trining that same Mars. So this is the thing. When I see in a natal chart a stressful aspect like we are having now collectively, the moon and the sun squaring up to Mars, ooh, that's stressful. But when you see the same planet in that aspect, which is Mars, making a trine to another one, that is the solution. The solution is like you're getting help. It's like the universe giving you a challenge, but at the same time, you're getting help. So that makes this new moon a bit of a break-even new moon. It's not too hard and not too good. It's not too good and not too bad. It's a break-even story. Or the challenge that you're going through, you have support. You know, sometimes we don't have any support. Sometimes we have to do things a lot by ourselves, and it makes it a little bit harder then. But now with this Mars in a trine to Mercury, I'm really glad that this is the case, because this Mars that is agitated, because something agitates Mars because of the square to the moon and the sun, whether it is a person, a situation, a work related issue, or whatever it is. But it's trining Mercury. So it means that in Libra, so it means that you do care about the mental state, you do care about fairness as well, you do care about the relationship. So when you do care about a relationship, you will consider what you're saying, right? To have that balance. And that is a good thing, because that's what relationships are all about. It's looking for that balance. So this is a beautiful aspect. Mars trining Mercury, wow. That is like what you want in your head, you can put it into action very easily. And it is smoothly, and it is rational. You know, these are the air signs. It's rational thinking. Mercury in Libra, considering relationships as well. And, you know, it's not a Mercury in Aries that just does because it feels like it. And it's my way or the highway. No. It's a Mercury that is saying we have to consider person A, person B, because we have to put our actions according to that. You know, Mars in Gemini. Mars in Gemini is an action that is coming from the mind, you could say, right? But again, also from the emotions, because it squares up to Moon and it squares up to the Sun. But it comes from the mind, and it is a bit scattered energy. People who've got natally Mars in Gemini, these are people, and they're supposed to be like that. It's their nature, but these are people who are absolutely very busy. They are like all over the place. They can be a little bit scattered, their energy a little bit here and a little bit there, but it makes them for who they are. It's very witty, it's very humorous energy. So if we're using our sense of humor, we can really connect with a Mars trine Mercury on a level of communication and on a level of rebalancing relationships. Yes, probably with a clash or two, but that is when it happens, it needs to happen. But we definitely have the tools to use our rationality, and that is a good thing, because that is needed in a situation like this, to want to go forwards in life with your connections on a balanced way. So I really like this Mars trine Mercury. So again, if you feel that with your actions, Mars in Gemini, it's all over the place, it has to be like that, right? There is also a positivity. When I think of Gemini, I think of the journalist, you know. It's knowing a little bit of everything, but not going into the depths of the matter. Don't worry, if you have Mars in Gemini in your natal chart, I'm not saying that you can't tap into the depths of life. No, you might have a Moon in Scorpio, and it's all like the depths in life. But people who do have that Mars in Gemini, they are not interested in the depths of life. They are interested in, I want to know a little bit of that, and I want to know a little bit of this, and I also want to know a little bit of that information. Then I'm going to knit it all together, and that makes me a very interesting, charming person. I mean, you know, whether you are a woman or a man, if you have Mars in Gemini, there is a charm around you that you can understand everything, you can relate, you are very witty and very light. There's a lightheartedness around you as well. So use this. This is nice energy in itself. So you can use this as well. What is Mercury? So we know that Mercury is in a good state when it trines Mars, okay? Yes, it's already in its shadow. It's almost going retrograde on the 11th or around the 11th of September. It's going retrograde. So it's already a little bit slowing down. That's true. But it's getting this nice, during this new moon, it's getting a nice aspect, which is fantastic. On another level, it still just had the aspect of a trine to Pluto. So it's also thinking very deeply and understanding that thinking deeply can, and going to the root of the matter, is not always pleasant, but it can unlock things. So that is also the Mercury that just went over the trine to Pluto. Now another thing is that Mercury is making itself ready not only to go retrograde, but also to oppose Jupiter. So this is a bit like, I want to understand more of life, not only the nitty-gritty or not only the pieces, you know, Mercury and Libra. I just want to see the bigger picture as well. That is the opposition of Mercury opposing Jupiter. I want to stick to the details. I want to understand the details, but I also want to understand the bigger picture. So that is also, it's an opposition, but again, these beautiful two trines are actually supporting that opposition, you could say. So, in a nutshell, it's a very interesting mental kind of activity that can drive us, because it's a new moon, emotionally into new ways of living that will improve our lives in maybe a small way, but ultimately in the long run, a very long-lasting way. So let's break this down finally. You know, it's already 25 minutes. This is not good, Veerle. This is not good. I want to make short videos, but it's very easy to understand, right? So let's break this down into all the signs. For Aries, this is happening in your 6th house, this new moon, and it squares up to Mars in your 3rd house. Now, this is a lot for you Aries people about your health and about your routines and about your work. There is a possibility of a new beginning, but there is a bit of a clash in your communication sector. Mars there squaring up to it. So the heat will come from there. The heat will come from maybe a colleague or maybe information that you pick up in the neighborhood or some gossiping or whatever. Mind you for that energy, right? So be as positive if you can, and bite your tongue, you especially, Aries people, because you are known for someone to be a bit impulsive and to be very real and very authentic, but sometimes it can cause problems in your connections. So is this the biggest new moon for you? No, not at all. But if you do use it right, because of this conversations that you have with people, being stressed out, or you being stressed out about the subject, use this energy to improve your routines, to improve your work, to put your focus on that, to improve that new beginning of your health routines. And you can use that nervous energy to do so. Now the ruler, Mercury, is in your 7th house of relationships. So this is what this is all about. It's about your relationship. It's about not your friends or your colleagues, or no, it's about the significant other person in your life. Even when you are single, it's about what you think, your attitude around those people, and also business partners. So it's a lot about how can I have that balance. And so it's a very social energy, and actually someone can help you. So someone that is truly a mentor for you, or your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend, someone can really help you out with that stressful energy that you have in the 3rd house. So let them help you, basically, and try to understand them better and try to get that balance out there. But definitely, as I said, it's not the biggest new moon for you, but all in all, key here is improve your routines, improve your day-to-day life, you know, take care of your health, take care of yourself, basically, and the rest will follow. Taurians, this is a new beginning. This is a nice new moon for you if you apply it in the right way, because Taurus has trine energy, easy energy to Virgo, and this is happening in your 5th house. This is happening in your 5th house, indeed, of self-expression, love, connection with your child, connection with a lover, connection with a new project. So there is some newness there starting. Either it is for you a new project at work, either it is for you a new hobby, a new sport that you're trying to apply, a new way of enjoying yourself, a new lover, a new child, or a new stage in your connection with a lover, or a new stage in your connection with your child. Of course, it will square up to your second house, which is your self-worth. So Taurians, be aware here of your self-worth. Of course, it's also a money house, so for lots of you, it could be a stress between a child and a money, a child that causes losses in your resources. I mean, be careful for that. You know, make sure that you have to figure out the balance here between both of you. But if it's not on a money level, it has to do with your confidence. So be aware that, again, I'm saying it a lot to you, but I'm going to repeat it again, that you're not people pleasing too much with this, because let's say you learn to know a new lover or a new connection, and it's very, you know, it's very real, it's very earthly, it's very comforting, but because your confidence, make sure it's a 50-50 between you and that other person, because otherwise you will go to people pleaser, and which is manipulation. Basically, it's basically manipulation, right? Because it's, I'm going to please you because I don't want to get rejected. That is manipulation. So if you're going to do that, it's going to cause a lot of stress. It's really because Mercury, the ruler of all of this, is in your 6th house of your health and your day-to-day routines. So so if you are saying, yeah, I'm a people pleaser for sure, go back to your routines, go back to your day-to-day life, and that will help you in improving your self-worth. And that will help you in having that balance between this new connection or new relationship, or even a new project that is costing too much of you. Maybe you're setting up your own business. The 5th house is also your child, so to speak, but your own business is also a child. So too much money is going towards that. So make sure that you are working efficient and having a plan and all of that, and that can help you in improving that situation. Again, for you as well, this is not the biggest new moon for you, definitely not. But it's one that can cause you a lot of contentment, enjoyment. So do it the right way. Geminis, for you Gemini, this is a big thing. This is a big full moon, new moon for you, because it's in a fellow mutable sign of Virgo. So you and Virgo are mutable signs, and of course Mars in your sign. But this new moon is happening in your 4th house. So this is about your most deep, your treasure, so to speak. It's your foundation. It's your core of who you are. It's your emotional well-being. And for some of you, it's literally your home. So there is newness around that. It could be for some of you a new home. But for many of you, it will have to do with a new start of how you nurture yourself. Right? It's being your own parent, basically. It's really not looking for parent nurturing aspects in your outside world, but it's you delivering yourself a very nurturing feeling. And that is by taking care of yourself, first and foremost. And you want to do that. Maybe you want to do that a bit too much, because it squares up to Mars in your 1st house. So mind your physical health a lot. I stress this because in a square to Mars and with the Virgo, you don't want to force yourself too much, right? Because you are all angered up, so to speak. You know, whenever we have Mars in our sign, and don't forget it's going to stay there like for 7 months. I didn't even say that in the intro, but anyways. So you're going to be fired up long enough, and you have the tools here to start up anything new in your life, whether it is a relationship, a project, a business. I mean, you've got it all here, but it will take 7 months to do so. So don't rush yourself too much, right? If there is a deep thing, a deep new beginning that you want on an emotional level, you will get there. But being too eager is a sign of being insecure, and you don't want that. You just want to do it step by step. Mercury is in your 5th house of self-expression. So what can help you is actually doing things that you love. It's actually, you know, whatever it is for you, whether it is going out with friends, traveling, having a nice talk with a friend, or going to dinner, whatever it is, this is going to release the tension that you have, because Mars in the 1st house, and definitely with a retrograde here, it means, I have a new plan and I want it yesterday. That's Mars in the 1st house. But again, because this energy is all about taking it slow, but don't see it as the universe hasn't got your back. On the contrary, the universe wants you to do it very good. And that's so very important here. To mind your physical health, to be very mindful in this way. Cancerians, this new moon is for you not the biggest change of all. It's actually quite an interesting new moon for you, because Cancer and Virgo goes well. It's a sextile energy, and but it's a very mental thing for you. So this is happening in your 3rd house. So there is a new beginning for you on the 3rd house level, which is the level of your communication, of the way that you think. If you have your own business, it's the PR that you're doing for your business. And it's also a social area of life. It's your neighborhood. It's your siblings, your brothers, your sisters, your neighbors, the people that you connect with on a daily level. So there is a new beginning there. But it's squaring up to Mars. So, and Mars is for a long time in your 12th house. So what is holding you back? It's you. It's you. And you probably don't know it even, but I hope you are aware of those energies, because if not, Mars in the 12th house can be very self-destructive. So I'm going to talk a lot about this in the upcoming videos. So you have to be aware that there's a part of you that, and certainly when you are like not liking yourself too much, this can be very self-destructing. It's self-sabotaging. So be mindful of that. When you are trying to do that, it has to work on your emotional well-being, your self-respect, because this Mercury in your 4th house trining this Mars is showing that the help that you get is by nurturing yourself, by put yourself on, you could say, on number 1, but in a positive way, not in a way like, for instance, you say, oh, my job is not going well, I'm going to drink all night, and not, passive aggressively, which is Mars in the 12th, I'm not going to show up at the office. No, that's not, you will do it will even get worse, right? But try to do something that nurtures you in a positive way, that you show respect for yourself. Then you cannot go wrong with this energy of a new beginning around your communication, around more openness, around more, you could say, around more realness, and in your communications and in the people around you, you could say, and in understanding and listening to the people around you can reflect a lot about you, but in a positive way. Also, when they are showing their negative ways, it says something about you. So, very interesting energy, but again, the stress comes from you not being too hard on yourself, not wanting to undermine you. I mean, Mars in the 12th is wanting to escape, so to speak, and you want to focus at Mars on a good thing. Do something for someone else. Do Mars in the 12th house in a positive way. In a negative way, is doing sneaky stuff, right? Behind the scenes, whatever that means for you. But in a positive way, it's doing something for someone else without wanting the return. And you will get rewarded for that in a big way, even bigger than you ever expected to do. So if you do things selflessly, but with good boundaries to the self, first taking care of you. Are you healthy? Are you, this on a mind level? there is something on your mind that is not positive. So the third house is your ideas and the mental talk that you do with yourself. So there needs to change something here, and it's connected unconscious to your unconsciousness. So you have to really dig deep into your own shadow to turn it around, and then you can, and then it changes everything, your whole life, because of another mindset. Leos, this is happening in your second house. For you, this is not the biggest thing, you know, but it's a new beginning that you get every year, a possibility of a new beginning around your confidence, around your money, around exploring a new way of improving that, improving your confidence, improving your income as well. And it squares up to the 11th house. So Mars is, the 11th house is triggering it. That is where Mars is. So is there a friend that is annoying you, a male friend, or a female friend with a lot of male energy? So there could be someone stressing you out. See it, right? See it. Or it could be a goal that you want to achieve, but you don't feel confident enough to do so. So there is this stress here related to goals, friends, and related to your confidence and your money. Or if a friend is asking you money, or the other way around, giving you a lot of money, or it doesn't necessarily has to be money, but if there is something that this friend is giving you a lot of and it's not in balance, watch out for that. Watch out for that. But because what does this really mean? What does this friend really want from me? You know, you can ask yourself these questions, and what's going to help you is this Mercury in your third house and trining the 11th house. So it's like through the conversations in your neighborhood, maybe with siblings, maybe with neighbors, maybe with the people that you talk to on a daily basis, they can give you some insights around this thing that is annoying you, around your goals and around your friends. Again, if you do have a goal that you want to go for, make sure that your confidence is healthy, that you're not doing it just to, you know, that you're doing it to express yourself, not to impress, you know. And because that is a trait of Leo, right? They want to be seen, and that's good. Everyone wants to be seen, basically. But for Leo, it's a pitfall. So be aware of that pitfall, and you'll be fine. Virgos is happy new moon. This is very important for you, especially for all Virgos, but especially for the Virgos who've got planets like a sun or a moon or an ascendant around 4 degrees of Virgo. You will feel this to the extreme. So this is a new beginning for you. This is your new moon. This is about a new beginning when it comes to your life, right? Because the first house is not only your physical appearance, it's also your relationships, it's also your work, it's everything. The first house is you. So you can profile yourself in a totally different way. And what's going to stress you out and what is the activator, you could say, is Mars in your 10th house. So for Virgos, it's super, super important. And Mars in your 10th house, it's the annoyance comes from either work or if you're not working, it could be a parent that is annoying you. So if you're working for yourself, it can mean like the changes that you want to make to improve that. If you're working for someone, it could be a boss that, it could be a female boss as well, but with a lot of male energy, you know, I'm a kind of a machista. And so prepare yourself for that, how you are going to deal with that. And in a positive way, you know, doing the positive Virgo traits, understanding, knowing where they're coming from. But hey, also having your healthy boundaries, and you know that it's going to have consequences if you say no to the boss. You have to take that consequence. And otherwise, you have to accept it. But it's going to be very difficult because There's something about your confidence here. Mercury going also retrograde in your second house of money and confidence. So, but it can help you with the work. So, how it can play out, this is all about, of course, this new beginning of how you profile yourself. But Mars is going to be ridiculously long in your 10th house. So for those of you Virgos who are not content in the job that you are at the moment, there's good news for you. But you will have to really take it slow with Mars in your 10th house. And it will take 7 months before you will see the results. So if you're doing that, and you can do that because Virgos in general, they're very patient, but sometimes they're so curious, and that's their pitfall. And it's insecurity basically. But for those of you, there could be like a situation at work that becomes worse and worse, but know that that is a good thing, because if it would not happen, you would stay there forever. You see what I mean? And it's that kind of energy. For others, it can mean having a lot of work, and you can do a lot with thinking about how you can improve your resources with the Mercury retrograde in the second house. So that could really help you to, and how to, you know, it's like the work that is stressful or that can be on a good level, it's having a lot of work, it's putting a lot of energy there. That's on a good level. So on a positive level, Mars in the 10th house is definitely, you can make changes. You can improve your situation of work for sure. And it's trining Mercury in the second house. So it has to do with your confidence. The more confident you are, and the more you want to hustle for the money or having better structures on a financial level, you can improve this. And but again, you will have to change. There's something about yourself that needs to go, which is the new moon in Virgo, and you need to step into a new kind of how I show myself in the world, how I am. Not only showing yourself, it's like a new you. So definitely very interesting for you, and what can help you out as well, because this you know, is really working on your confidence and really working on, yes, you are a dear Virgo that always is considered with other people, especially the ones that you are drawn to, but you have to stick to you now, because otherwise your energy goes too much towards these other people. And are they worth it? Are they worth it? Right? And if they are, they will come to you for help. They surely will. So it's a lot about helping you out, yourself, taking care of you. With this new moon in your sign, go for like a totally new closet, the old clothes out and the new in. And it's going to give you confidence, for sure. It can mean something in your looks that you're about to change, and this is the new me now. So how you were before the new moon is not the same as you are after the new moon. It doesn't mean to say because you are a Virgo that you and that you always want to fix other people's problems, that you're just going to do that for the sake of doing that. No, 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 no. You're going to do that in a discerning way. And you're going to do that first and foremost. It's me time now. It's very important here. Me time. Virgo, a new moon in your sign. It's a purification, a clean up. Do something around your physical appearance, not to just appear wow, but it's from the inside out. A purification, cleansing, whatever it is. A peeling on the skin, whatever it is for you. It's a good time. A cleaning of some sorts, basically, is very good for you, Virgos. Anyways, so use this, put energy on Virgo, basically. And I know that's not your priority, but make it a priority, and you will be a better helper to others who are worth it. That's the key here. And also your financial situation will improve because of that, for sure. With the Mars in the 10th house going backwards and forwards, for sure. And people who are not working, this could be also a parent that triggers you, a parent that is a bit bossy towards you, and it's standing up against, a parent. It depends on what age you are, although we can have that at any age, having to stand up towards a parent. Or another thing, because, and a lot of people forget that who are doing astrology, the 10th house is your social status. So that could be your social status is about to, it could be a change. It could be a change, but you've got, again, 7 months here to make that change. Whether it is a divorce, whether it is, of course, if you want that to, it's your own effort, right, with Mars here. Or whether it is from single to a relationship, whether it is from being in a bad relationship towards being single. That your social status, being a single mom towards being a mom, or, that change there in your status is also reflected with Mars in the 10th house. So you could be doing a lot of work there as well. A lot for the Virgos, a lot. Librans, this is not the biggest new moon for you. Oh, it's going to be a long video. Anyways, this is not the biggest new moon for you, but it's in your 12th house. So there is a new beginning for you when it comes to the hidden house, the unconscious house, the house of relaxation, the house of where we rest and, we kind of reload the batteries. That's the 12th house. So there is a new beginning for you to reload your batteries, a new habit, a new, an ending, hopefully, for you, of by cleansing, by purification, by purging, an ending of an old bad habit that is undermining you, which is the 12th house, and towards more healthiness when it comes to also understanding. There's a new understanding here that comes up of your own dark shadow. We all have a 12th house. We all undermine ourselves at times. And you are going to be because of Mars in your 9th house. So it can be because of a travel. It can be because of reading a book that opens your eyes, that gives you a broader perspective, but that clashes towards your the things that you don't like so much about yourself. A shadow, it can be an addiction, it can be a little one, a big one, whatever it is, it doesn't always have to be alcohol. When I talk about addictions, people think, oh yeah, drugs and alcohol. Yeah, we can be addicted to love as well. In particular, the Librans, because they're ruled by Venus, so they want to please, right? But remember, if you're pleasing, you're manipulating. You're doing that not for love. And I know this is... a lot of people don't understand that, but when we please, we kind of put someone up and put ourselves down, and I don't want you to do that, and I don't invite you to do that, and that can be something that you are seeing because Mercury is in your sign, and that's a good thing. It's going to go retrograde there as well, and it's trining that 9th house, so you are having epiphanies. And you either see them or you don't want to see them. That's your choice, but you're getting epiphanies from maybe an astrologer, from maybe a film, a movie that you're watching and that opens up your eyes, but it gives you stress because it means that you need to change, and you need to change. I really, with this Mercury retrograde in your sign, this is a change on a mental level about the self. So explore that, although it is stressful for you. Explore that, and it can be a whole new beginning around way more, putting out toxicity in your life. I mean, the 12th house, it's also what we keep hidden. And what you keep hidden can become toxic. So put a light on that and a new beginning here. I see like the Hermit here, I'm not really good at tarot or anything, but sometimes I see things like that card of the Virgo card, which is the Virgo card. It's interesting. The Hermit card, having that lamp in the darkness, that's what you're doing. You're shining light upon your own shadow. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Embrace that. Embrace that. Although it is stressful, embrace it because it can help you in understanding yourself better and in being more real so that you don't have to manipulate to get what you want. That you are strong enough to say, hey, I'm worthy of it, and if it needs to come, it will. If it's about to come to me, if it's meant to be, it will come. You know, that kind of attitude in your relationships. Very interesting. Scorpios, this is happening in your 11th house. This is, again, nice energy for you. Because Virgo and Scorpio goes well with each other. It's a sextile energy. So this new beginning for you is either a new goal, or you doing something new in a group, an activity there, or a new goal for the future, or a new friendship, or not a transformation, a purification of a friendship. And that can go either both ways. Either you get more interested in that connection and it becomes more real, or it breaks off because it's not real. So it squares up to the 8th house. So there's something hidden about this friendship or goal, or there is something transformational in this energy because Mars is in your 8th house. So you're a bit battling against your own demons, so to speak, which is a common thing for, not a common thing, but they understand it. Scorpios understand that every now and then in their life, they will have to conquer some demons, right? And it's the same. So be aware of toxic friendships, right? Be aware of that. And, but also be aware that a friendship can upgrade you. If you see through it, if you see those imbalances, there could be some crisis that you are going through and a friend is helping you out. It could be that as well, but there is some stress around it. So be very open, be very real and authentic, and then you cannot go wrong. You Scorpios know that. When you are authentic and real, because otherwise this is manipulative energy. You don't want that. And especially as a Scorpio, they can do that very easily. They can manipulate like no other. They can. But when they are doing, and they choose, right? If you choose to do that, you're going to attract people who are the same. And especially now amongst your friends. So be aware of that, you know. Who do you want to be as a Scorpio person? Do you want to be strong, and do you want to the things that you cannot control? Are you letting them go, dear Scorpios? And are you trusting that if you want a friendship or it will come to you if it has to, and you have trust in the universe and in yourself, then nothing can go wrong. This can be an upgrade even in a friendship, absolutely. But there's like some hurdles to go through. And what can help you, this Mercury is in your 12th house. So there's a lot, this is your cup of tea. There's a lot hidden here. There's a lot of patterns, shadows, and but it can help. It can help with the introspectiveness that true Scorpios. What I do like about Scorpio, I have my Venus in Scorpio, and that's why I like, and my ruler as well. That's what I like very much about Scorpios, when they are introspective and they are willing to change themselves. Then miracles happen, absolutely. So when you are doing that, you are going to change a connection with someone that is way more real. And ultimately, that's what you want. You don't want to manipulate, because then you have to keep on manipulating for the rest of your life. Unless you have a lot of energy, you can do that. But you want realness and truthfulness. That's the depth of the Scorpio. And also around your goals for the future. It is a time where you have to dig deep around those goals. There is a new beginning there. And so around goals and around the plans for the future. And remember, Mars is in the 8th house for a long, long, long time. So a lot of Scorpios are going through a very scorpionic, with this Mars retrograde, for 7 months, you will go through a long process of introspection and a long process of understanding yourself even better, knowing yourself even better. But it's not by the easy way. It's by the way of confrontation and of seeing yourself. and of not beating yourself up, because that's the downside of all of this. Not of beating yourself up, self-sabotaging, but I don't think you're gonna do this because of this beautiful trine to Mercury and Mars. So yes, it can give you a lot in the long run, because this is a new moon, can give you a lot of gains and a lot of, when you have your own business, because the 11th house is a financial house as well. It's the second house from the 10th. So if you have your own business, you could be, oh yes, this is a money thing as well. So it could be like a new beginning of improving your finances. If you have your own company, for instance, by investments, by Mars in the 8th house, by sharing resources with others, or investing, or inheritances, or tax returns, but it will take some time. So there is definitely an improvement. If you have your own business or you're starting it, an improvement of having more money out of it, but it will take the Mars retrograde, up until next year, the midst of January, to see the results. Sagittarians. Wow, this is also very important for you Sagittarians. And why? Because you are a mutable sign, and this has to do with mutable energy. Virgo is the top of your chart. So it's a new beginning, a new start that is very much seen by others, because it's your public life, right? So yes, it is work for lots of you. With the new moon there is a change in how you see the work, you could say, or a new job, or a different way of doing a job. For others, it has to do with a parent. There is some sort of a new beginning there. And also, for others, it can have to do with your social status. There is something around social status, so being married, being not married, being single, not being single, having a child, and the child is like living on its own, for instance. That status, like, although you can't say that is a status, but anyway, it's how people see you in public. There is a shift here possible, especially if you've got a Sagittarius rising or sun or moon around 4 degrees, you will feel it a lot. So you have an opportunity to be more efficient at work, to improve your work, absolutely. But what is nagging here is a connection, a relationship, Mars in your 7th house. I'll do a video about Mars retrograde in the near future, and talk more about this. But someone is triggering you to make those new beginnings. And on a positive level, this is someone who inspires you. A male figure, Mars in the 7th house. It could be a male figure. And you're very excited with working with this person, for instance, as a business partner, or with your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend. If you are a man, this could be a woman that is very feisty and fiery. And on a good level, this is someone that triggers you to go further in your career. That's the most positive outcome of this. I want you to focus on that. Now, the negative thing is that you are quarreling with your spouse because of a new job, for instance. That is the negative. How you can turn this around, it's using Mars in the 7th house implies that you will have to sort out things with someone else, right? There is a lot, you and another person merging the energy. It's not a time to doing things alone with Mars in your 7th house. But it's about how am I not losing myself and letting those people with Mars in the 7th house, it's easy to let other people run over you. So you will have to stand your ground, but you also have to listen. I'm saying this with a smile on my face because I have a Sagittarius rising myself. Sagittarius, the pitfall of Sagittarius is being a wiseacre. It's not a time for being the wiseacre. With Mars in your 7th house, it's not the time. Even if you know that you are right. Even if you know that you are right, and in a lot of percentages you are right, but even when you know that, you can say it once, you don't have to repeat it. Because, dear Sagittarians, the truth doesn't have to be defended. True, isn't it? I'll stop with that. That's enough. And by the way, Sagittarians, a friend can help you. because Mercury is in your 11th house of friends and trining that 7th house. So there could be a friend that really, really helps you and supports you to get your goal that is all up there in the 10th house. How you want to it's like a second ascendant, the 10th house. So if you want to profile yourself in a different way, another person, and it's not just a friend, it's not just a sister or a brother, no, it's someone special that is a bit of a mentor role for you, and someone that has your best interest, but that you can talk to very much and easily and very kind of in a rational way. He or she can help you out with these changes that you want to make, that has to do with how you profile yourself. And there's going to be a lot of energy in your 10th house anyway, the upcoming month. So there is a lot to be done and can be done on a level of how you want to improve your situation at work, how you want to improve your public image as well. Capricorns, this is happening in your 9th house. This is not the most, you could say, important, challenging new moon at all. On the contrary, it's a very nice one for you because Capricorn trines Virgo energy. And a trine means beautiful energy, a new beginning in your 9th house. I love this. I love this for you because the 9th house, it can mean a travel. There could be some stresses though, you know, in your day-to-day routines. But if you are okay with that, if you say, okay, the stresses are there for a reason, because Mars is in your 6th house, your day-to-day routines, your work, your life. So you could want to do a travel, but you have a lot of work to do, or you have to take, or things on a routine level are not happening as you are expecting them in the routine. If you can let go a little bit of that, you can have a lot of new insights by traveling. If it's not traveling, it's by reading a book. It's by learning something new. It's by taking a new course that can stress you out a little bit in your day-to-day routine. Because Mars is in your 6th house there. It's going to be there for a long time, going backwards and forwards. So you are doing all of this to improve your health, to improve your work as well, and to be content there. Now Mercury is in your 10th house of work, so again, for a lot of you this is related to your work, and it trines your 6th house. So you could have good conversations with bosses or with people who have your best interest. You know, it's Libra, so they are quite fair there as well. And but all in all, this new beginning has to do with a new mindset. And that is not an easy thing for most people. But for you, it's easy because it's in a trine. So be open for that new perspective. It can help you ultimately with making changes on a work level, on a health level. So very, very interesting. Aquarians, this is happening in your 8th house. So a new beginning when it comes to money that you share with other people, or that you get out of inheritance, or out of tax return, out of investments, all of that. But it's stressed by Mars in your 5th house. So there's something that is stressing you out. It could be a child, it could be a project, it could be a hobby. It's stressing out your money sector. And it could also has to do with love. You know, there is some secrecy there with the new moon there, and Mars in the 5th house. You want it so badly, for instance. You want to have sex so badly that you are, you know, meeting your shadow there with the new moon in the 8th house. Again, that's for some of you, not for all of you, but there is connection to that. It's a lot about expressing yourself, and you want to express yourself, and you will, because you're going to have Mars in your 5th house for a tremendous, ridiculously long time, like 7 months or so. So ultimately you will get there, but you will have to be patient in how you are going to do that. And there is a time frame here. So Mars in the 5th house can suggest more love, more sex, more playfulness. actually more enjoyment in general, whether it is through sex, it is through a hobby, it is through a romance. There is possibility for sure, but you have to have patience here, because the reward will be when Mars goes direct, which will be the midst of January, but it's a building up there. And what can help you is traveling, is studying something that is philosophical, that is metaphysical. Mercury in your 9th house, it trines that 5th house. So it can also mean someone from abroad that is helping you out and giving you that broader perspective for that transformation that you are having. I mean, the new moon in the 8th house is definitely a figuratively dying and a reborn again. So there's something that needs to go before you can go towards that transformation. And it has to do with deep psychological stuff. If it's not having to do anything with money, like with the investments that I talked about, it has to do with deep stuff, with deep challenges that you keep hidden, but that you know that you want to battle to gain strength. And you're only going to gain strength when you go through that pain and when you're not running away from it. So is there a painful situation that you're trying to escape? Face it, right? Face this, and although it is not an easy thing, it can really help you out. It's a lot about a new beginning around values of other people. There could be an ending and a new beginning, how you value other people and how they value you. So be aware that you see the bigger picture. That is what's going to help you out. See the bigger picture. Don't take it too personal, but the thing is, you will take it personal. But the more you do broaden your perspective, the better. Pisceans, this is for you, super important. This is you are a mutable sign, and this new beginning is happening in your opposite sign of Virgo, your relationships. So there is a new beginning there, whether it is a new person coming into your life, whether an existing relationships gets an upgrade, whether that is bad or good for you, right? Whether you want it or not, there is opportunity there. There is opportunity of a new phase in your relationship, or a new relationship for sure, especially when you've got planets around 4 degrees of Pisces. But there is some nagging energy with Mars in your 4th house. So that is your security house. So you could be like not feeling secure, not feeling emotionally content, not feeling your best self when it comes to the nurturing side of yourself. So be aware of that. If you are meeting someone new, or if you're, whatever it is that is happening in your relationship, yes, for some of you, this could be an end of a relationship, absolutely. But if you have been having a really tough, rough time, there could be a new moon there that either you or circumstances or this other person is saying like, no more. It could be the case. And that is the fight that you could be making with yourself. On another level, know that this is a part of the transformation, because Mercury is in your 8th house. So a lot of stuff here has to do with hidden stuff, you know, that you hide from yourself, or that it's fears. It's unrealistic fears. So a lot of you Pisceans, because they have a fear, there comes some sort of a clash in their connection, or in a new connection. There could be a lot, but it's mental, you know. Mercury in the 8th house, it's fears that are, how would I say? You can have a realistic fear, right? You know, when you are in traffic and a car is driving in front of you, it's not the best. You have a fear of, ooh, I can't cross this street, which is a good fear, right? It's good to have that. But these are a lot imaginative fears. So be aware of that. With Mercury in the 8th house, your mind can trip you. So, but if you know it, you can change it. And that's the transformation. You're going to have Mars very long in your 4th house. So you have an opportunity to heal the mom or dad wound, so to speak. To be your own mom and dad. To be secure in your own body, to be, which is the moon, right? The 4th house, to be with yourself. That is what this is all about. To be you and to not fear rejection. And even when there is a rejection, that you say, hey, I know who I am. You know, it's that exploring. It's very deep for you, Pisceans. And that other person is a mirror. So when that other person is there's certainly another person in your midst that's going to show up, or that's going to show themselves in a positive or a negative way. That is how you perceive it, but it's in a way to purify, to clarify, to show who you are and to improve you, because we cannot fix other people. You know, you dear Pisceans, you want that a lot, and it's a beautiful trait to have compassion and to be empathic, but you don't have to take on other people's karma. You see, it's about this Mars in the 4th house, which is annoying, but it's trying to show you that you have to take care of you first and foremost, because when you're looking up too much to someone else and, oh, they're all good, oh, the Virgos, they are so beautiful and respectful and hardworking, and oh, they've got all their ducks in a row. No. They also have other things that are not so good. So you don't put them on a pedestal, because otherwise you abandon yourself. That's not something that I invite you to do, right? Listen to a Virgo who is saying that to you and who has your best interest, having said those wise words. You know, it's a very interesting new moon for you. Something will be revealed. And a new cycle is starting for you, and embrace that new cycle. Okay, having said that, thank you so much for watching this video. It was a super long one, and I hope it was helpful, and all the best to you. Bye bye.